Hi, I'm Anne Pollard, and this is the reading of my book, Cleo's Fabulous Adventures, The Realm of the Woods, Chapter 16, Netzach the Numbat. Cleo took a deep breath and looked over at Bacchus. That was so amazing, Bacchus, she said. I can still feel Zuriel right beside me. I think I'm really going to love having a guardian angel. Bacchus smiled. Yes, it is one of your greatest awakenings. Your relationship with Zuriel will be so important for the rest of your life. Cherish that love and watch it bloom. Now we have a very special animal to meet. Shall we begin? You can ask Zuriel to come along as well. Cleo smiled and said, Yes, let's go. Bacchus turned to a new path that was forming in front of them. Cleo followed with Zuriel by her side. They walked in silence for some time. It was peaceful. As the path continued to unfold, they followed it to a fence. It was very tall, and it reached so far that they could not see the end of it, but you could see through it. Cleo was confused. Why would there be a fence in the middle of nowhere, she thought. Bacchus said, Our next animal friend needs protection from the wild. You will understand. Then Bacchus asked Cleo to grab his tail. She did. He closed his eyes and nodded for Cleo to follow him. They walked toward the fence, and with no hesitation, Bacchus walked right through it, as if it was not even there. Cleo, of course, did the same. They emerged on the other side, and Cleo had a small chuckle. She was laughing because nothing really surprised her any longer. She really could do anything. Inside the fence, there were trees and brushy grass and scrub brush. The trees had bare trunks with short green leaves at the top. They were sparse enough to have plenty of room to walk between them. There were beautiful flowers of purple, pink, and red that dotted the landscape around them. Among the bushes and grasses were lots of old fallen trees. The limbs and stumps were spread everywhere, and they were all different lengths and sizes. The landscape colors were a mix of dark greens and browns. The trio of Bacchus, Cleo, and Zuriel continued making their way around the fallen tree limbs until they reached quite a large branch that stretched across the path. Bacchus stopped. Let's wait here, he said. Cleo sat down on the end of the fallen branch to wait with Bacchus. The limb was hollow and open at one end. Cleo's legs were in front of the opening. They sat for only a short time when Cleo felt something behind her legs. She looked down. Just as this little creature emerged from inside the fallen branch, she jumped up in surprise, but making sure she didn't step on it. Bacchus laughed as the Numbat emerged and turned towards them. She was just a little thing, about 10 inches long. Her shape and coloring were so unique. She had a rather pointed nose covered in thin brown fur, and each of her eyes was surrounded in a white fur band. She had short front legs, but large claws on each foot. The fur on her back was a lighter shade of brown. As it crested her shoulders, it became a series of white and brown stripes. The stripes went all the way down to her tail, getting darker and darker with each stripe. Her tail was wispy and almost as long as her body. She ducked slightly as Cleo jumped up and then let out a small squeaky laugh. She made some soft clicking sounds and then said, Hello, Bacchus. Hello, Cleo. I'm so happy you made it. Any trouble with the fence? Bacchus shook his head and said, No trouble, Netzach. We're so pleased to see you are in good health. Cleo, this is Netzach. She is a Numbat. Cleo looked down and bowed her head slightly. Hello, Netzach. I have never had the pleasure of seeing a Numbat before. Netzach smiled back and said, It's my pleasure to be seen. Cleo laughed and said, May I ask what the purpose of the fence is? Netzach sighed and said, Well, Cleo, Numbats are an endangered species. There are only about 1,000 of us left on the whole earth. The predators we have were too great in number for us to defend ourselves. So the universe graciously enclosed us in this wonderful sanctuary so that we could repopulate. And it's working. Oh, goodness, said Cleo. I'm sorry to hear there are so few of you, but I'm glad you have the opportunity to thrive once again. I have a special place in my heart for animals, and it makes me sad when they're threatened with extinction. Thank you, said Netzach. It takes endurance and patience to rebuild an entire species, but we will not be distracted from our goal of repopulating. And this sanctuary has everything we need. You see, we only eat termites, thousands of them a day, and there are enough old limbs and stumps to attract the termites we need to live on. And then Netzach stuck out her skinny tongue and made a sound, yummy. Her tongue was almost as long as her body. They all laughed in delight. Netzach said, even though we are a bit shy, we are organized and super productive. I think that could describe you as well, Cleo. You always have a lot of work to do, but you're able to get things done in an organized way, much like Ariel said at the beginning of your journey. And now you are seeing that power even more clearly. Your ability to rally your team and motivate them is a strength that will serve you well in all areas. Cleo smiled at the compliment. Thank you, Netzach. It is something that I wasn't really aware of until this journey. I mean, I do that every day, but I didn't realize that as a strength. Actually, said Netzach, it's a very important strength, and just as important as things like your intuition. You can use that strength when you're looking for a new job or even looking at doing something completely different. Following your joy is the main thing. You love animals and nature. Maybe your joy, your purpose is to help animals. Have you ever thought about that? Cleo felt a small spark in her heart. Oh, that would be so great, she said. I would really love to do something like that. But I've never had enough money to do that kind of work, and I don't have time to volunteer right now. Netzach said, if that is your joy, Cleo, then start small. If you prioritize your joy, it will open doors for you. Focus on what is essential. That's the joy of following your heart. Everything else comes from that. When you know what you want and you make the start, the universe, the spirit animals, and the angels will always lead you on the right path. Maybe the Numbat will inspire you to help the endangered species on your earth. There are a lot of animals that could use your help. You could help Mother Earth, Gaia, herself. There are so many ways you can contribute to a new earth. Netzach continued, I know you are used to doing things in a big way, Cleo, and that's always grand. But remember that you're contributing every day just by enjoying nature and being happy there. Everyone contributes in their own way, and everyone's contribution is as important as everyone else's. Did you know that just one person living their joy, even in the most seemingly small way, can have a huge ripple effect across the universe? Yes, not just Earth, but the whole universe. It is that important. There is no higher calling than living your joy, Cleo. Have the patience to follow your passion. Live every moment in your highest joy, and you will never want for anything. Bacchus smiled as he felt the joy rising in Cleo's heart. Not only has she found her strength, he thought, she is now also finding her joy. He said, Netzach, we're grateful for your time and wisdom, and we're so pleased to see the new sanctuary and how it's helping you repopulate. We wish you great success. Thank you, Bacchus, said Netzach. With your love and support, I'm sure we will rise again to great numbers. And although we are small, every living creature deserves to live the life to the fullest. And we will do so as well, as long as the termites hold out, she laughed. Cleo and Bacchus laughed with her. Then Cleo said, Netzach, I am confident that you will be successful in your goal. I hope I can come back here one day and see many thousands of Numbats. That would bring me great joy." "Thank you, Cleo," said Netzach. "That would bring me great joy as well. But until then, always remember that we are all here for you always and every moment. You only need to ask for our help and we'll be there." Netzach made a soft clicking sound and walked back into the fallen log. Thank you for joining me. Have a fabulous day.